In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a progress circle chart in Excel that you can use as a progress tracker. It'll contain the percent of budget spent in the middle that will be dynamically linked to your data as you update it. So the donut chart will look like it's filled or unfilled based on your information. I'm also going to show you how to format the chart to make it stand out. Now, if you want to follow along with the video, I'll include a link in the description below where you can easily access the spreadsheet of the test data that we're using. Let's take a look. In this example, I have a spreadsheet where I'm tracking my gift spending budget, and I want to see the percentage of my budget that gets spent as I go. First, let's sum up the budget column. I'm going to select my cell, go on the Home tab, and click on Sum. That'll automatically select the range. If it looks correct, I'll hit Enter. I'm going to select that cell, go to the bottom right corner, and autofill that formula over, so it's just summing the actual cost column and the column that's either over or under budget. I'm going to go ahead and make those cells bold just so they stand out. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to create two cells that will have the percentage of budget spent and then the remainder up to 100%. So I'm going to type percent budget spent and the remainder. We'll format these cells, select them, align them, and make them bold. Now I'm going to use a formula to calculate the percent of budget spent. I'm going to select the cell where I want the percentage to be located. I'm going to hit equals. Then I'm going to select the total actual cost divided by the total budget amount and hit Enter. Then I'm going to select that cell and come up on the Home tab and click on Percentage to make that cell formatted as a percent. Now to calculate the remainder, I'm going to use a formula that I'll include in the description below this video. This is a formula that will let me exceed 100% of my budget if I want to be able to go over 100% of my budgeted amount. So I'm going to place my cursor in the cell next to remainder and copy the formula and hit Enter. Then I'm going to adjust the formatting of that cell to decrease the number of decimals. Now that I have both percentages calculated, we can insert the progress circle chart. I'm going to select the cells with both percentages, go up to Insert, under the chart area, drop down the pie charts, and select Doughnut. And let's drag this where we want to place it on our spreadsheet. Now we can format it. Let's go ahead and select the legend and delete. And we can name this, we can double click the chart title area, select it, and we'll name it percent of budget spent. Now let's continue to format this chart. I'm going to go ahead and click the series and right click and select Format Data Series. This lets us adjust the donut hole size. I'm going to adjust this down to 65%. Notice that it makes the hole smaller, so you can make it bigger or smaller depending on how you want your progress circle chart to look. Now we can change the colors of the progress circle chart as well. Select the progress circle chart, go over to your fill area, and you can adjust the color. Now we want to select the piece of the chart that is the remaining balance, and we want to make this a fill color that looks grayed out so it will appear that that's unfilled. So I'm going to double click that area of the chart and then come over here and select more of a gray color. So now it looks like our progress circle chart is almost filled to 100%. Now let's place the percent of budget spent in the middle. To do this, I'm going to make sure that my chart is selected. I'm going to go up to Insert, click on Text, and insert a text box. Click and drag to draw your text box where you want to place it in the middle of the donut. You can come up to the alignment area on the Home tab and place a number in the middle. While we have the text box selected, come up to your formula area, click equals, and select the percent budget spent cell, then hit Enter. This is going to automatically place whatever value is in that cell will be linked here and appear here. Now we can continue to format this by selecting it, going up to the font area. We can increase the font size, we can make it bold, and we can update the color so that it matches. Now notice if we drag around the chart, the text box will stay linked in there with the percent of budget spent. Now we can continue to format our chart here. Go ahead and click on the chart. Over in the Format Chart area, you can go to Solid Fill and select a color. Now we can update the title. We want the text to appear in white. And we can make it bold and increase the font size. Now let's say we want to remove the outline of the chart here. We can select it and click on No Line. And now we can add drop shadows to the chart to make it stand out. Click on the chart to open up the Format Data Series, go over to the Effects option, under Shadow Presets, drop down and select the outer shadow that you want to add. You can also apply the same shadow to the text area. Select the text box, go up to Effects, under the Shadow Presets, select the same outer shadow. Then if you want to apply a shadow to the entire chart, click outside of the chart, then select the chart, go to the Effects, under Shadow Presets, select the one that you want to apply. Now let's test everything to make sure our chart updates accordingly. So if we go up here and we adjust the actual costs down, it will adjust so the pie chart goes down. And if we exceed our budget, it will include the percentage over budget. Now there's also something cool I'm going to show you how to do as a bonus tip, and that is if you want the progress circle chart to fill in different colors depending on different levels of completion. Let's take a look at how that would work. I'm going to open up a new spreadsheet. Now this is the same data and same information. We have our percent of budget spent, and then we have our remainder, but I've added some additional levels. So for example, if the percent of budget spent is less than 50%, I want the progress circle chart to show up in green. If it's between 50% and 75%, I want it to show up in this yellowish orange color. And then if it's over 75%, I want it to show up in red. So what I've done here is I've set up different conditional formulas in these cells. So using if statements, we're saying if the percent of budget spent is less than 50%, then display that amount here. If not, display nothing. That's indicated by a quote with a space in between the formula. In the next cell, we're using a little bit more complex formula, but it's basically saying if the percent of budget spent is between 50% and 75%, then display that amount here. If not, display blank. And then same thing down here. If the percent of budget spent is over 75%, then display that amount down here. If not, display a blank. So what this means is if I come up here and adjust my actual cost, so let's say my actual cost goes down, I've only spent 48% of my budget, that's going to show up in level 1, the area that I want to be in green. If I spent a little bit more, that's going to show up in level 2 at 60%, and I want that to be yellow. And if I spent more, it's going to show up here in the last area, which is going to be red. So let me go back and we'll populate for the first level to appear. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my percent budget spent and my first level. Then I'm going to go up to Insert, go to my pie chart, and select the donut chart. I'm going to move this down here, and let's just adjust it so that we can see it better. Now let's adjust the range to include all of the cells over here. So I'm going to bring my mouse over to the bottom right corner of the cell and drag all the way down to include all the cells, including the remainder. Notice that in the legend, we can see all of the levels here, but we only display 2 at a time, showing the unfilled and filled area. So that's what we want to accomplish for that. Let's go ahead and delete our legend, and let's double click our area over here and adjust the donut hole size down to 65%. All right, let's go ahead and double click on the unfilled area. We want that to be gray, so we've double clicked it. We're going to go up to Format, drop down Shape Fill, and select our light gray color. Now we want this percent filled over here. If it's less than 50%, we want that to be green. So I'm going to double click that. We'll go up to Format, click on Shape Fill, and select the matching green color. Now let's adjust our cost so that we have a middle tier, the level 2. And now we want this area to be the yellowish or light orange color. So we're going to click it twice, come up to Format, go to the Shape Fill, and select the light orange color. And now let's adjust this so that we have a level 3 visible. And this is the level where we want to appear in red. So we're going to click it twice, go up to Format, go to Shape Fill, and select our red color. So now as we adjust the amounts again for our percent of budget spent, the appropriate colors appear. All right, let's go back to a level 1 amount, and now we want to include the percent of budget spent with the right color inside the middle of the progress circle chart. So let's select our chart area, go up to Insert, Text, and draw a text box in the middle. And we'll go up to the formula bar, hit equals, and select the level 1 percentage and hit Enter. Then we're going to format this to be in the center, and we'll increase the font, and we'll assign the appropriate color. And we'll make it bold. Now for the level 2 percentage, what we're going to do is hit Control D to duplicate. And for this one, instead of E9, we're going to reference E10 as our cell up in the formula bar and hit Enter. Now it made it disappear. So if we update our budget spent to be within that level, notice that it appears down here. So all we have to do is reformat that, increase the font size, change the color, and make it bold. Now we can hit Control D one more time to duplicate, and this last one will reference the level 3 maximum percent of budget spent. That is in cell E11, and hit Enter. And then we'll update our budget amount to show a level 3 value, and then we can format that as well. Bring it to the center, increase the font size, update the color, and make it bold. So now again, as we update our budget amounts, the percentage in the middle will also update along with the progress circle chart. Now you know how to create a dynamic progress circle chart in Excel. Be sure and share this video with your friends who also may find it helpful. You can visit my website, SharonSmithHR.com. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.